Hey guys, the Guildmaster with the Cleric and the Kilt, heavy metal wargaming. You might notice a little different ambiance. So one of the places we go to, the Wolf and Wyvern up in Johnstown, PA, there's a video coming. There could potentially become a sponsor, and this is one of their private rooms for playing D&D and stuff like that.
It's called the Whipping Wyvern Tavern.
Correct, and as you can see, it's pretty nice. I can't take credit for this being at our place.
No, not yet.
But we might be doing a lot of recording up in this area. So, yeah, that's what awesome background looks. But this episode, what we're talking about, SPGs, self-propelled guns. Basically, the last video we did about IFVs.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to kind of like go over all the SPGs in the game, can then kind of rank them how we feel. The format we follow is we don't go taking natural characteristics into consideration because the Finnish carnation versus the Soviet carnation
versus the Syrian carnation.
Yeah, are all three different variants. So we're just going off base stats of the vehicle, weapons, and maybe points. A lot of the points are pretty similar, even between all the nations.
Yeah.
So we kind of do have an honorable mention. We're not going to mention mortars because there's ground-mounted mortars now, and then there's obviously vehicle-mounted mortars.
Yeah, most nations except for the Soviets have mortars. Well, Warsaw Pact have mortars.
Well, the VDV have mortars
yeah,
too.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Which is really weird because in real life, like the Soviets had tons of different kinds of mortars. The one probable mention is, in fact, we even have research material today.
Oh, yeah.
In Red Dawn, the Soviet mortar carrier,
the Nona.
It's an honorable mention because technically it's a mortar, but it's statted out like a artillery piece, so it's like direct fire and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're going to lump that in with the mortars when we do the next video on that. So I guess we'll kind of lead off. You guys want to do Warsaw Pact first for SPGs?
Yeah,
sure.
Because in reality, there's not too many of them.
You have the Carnation and the Acacia.
Which are pretty similar. And then I guess also in Warsaw Pact, you have the
Dana.
The Dana.
The Czech and or Polish. I think it's just Czechoslovakian.
So we can do the Coronation because it's kind of the first one. It's pretty basic if you look at the stat line. So I think actually you have a card.
Yeah, I got the card right here.
So like
the card right here.
So like you have the Coronation. So on average, you know, it's got front armor 2, side 1, roof 1, and you'll see a theme with a lot of the artillery pieces.
I mean, if your artillery's getting shot at, I think you're doing something wrong.
Right. Its range is like 88. Anti-tank is 4, and then firepower 3, so it's not bad.
No, it's decent. I mean, for, what is it, a 122 millimeter gun? It's decent.
Yeah, it has smoke. Now, direct fire is interesting. It's a 21 brutal +2 firepower. So it's actually really good in direct fire rolls. Apparently, the Soviet doctrine is from the Great Patriotic War. They want to make sure all their self-propelled guns could also serve as anti-tank vehicle mounts.
Just in case.
Right, and its range is 24. You'll see a lot of the guns that have direct fire. The ranges are pretty short.
Yeah, it's meant to as a last-ditch effort.
Yeah. And then the next one you have will be the Acacia.
Yes.
Which is a lot longer range.
I do believe it's 152 millimeter. Soviets
Correct.
are very happy with their weird caliber
88 inch range. That's from one side of the board to the other. There's no hiding.
Yeah, all these guns, what you'll see is everything's in the range just about. The only kind of weird part, like we've talked about this and other things, the scale of Team Yankee. In reality, your self-propelled guns will be this close to the front. You know what I mean?
They'd be all
so a lot of these ranges are kind of like comical.
Yeah.
Like give it to you because it's basically 8.7 feet. Like 1 to 100 is like 100 inches.
Yeah, something like that.
So then the Acacia is like what you had Kilt. What's the stats on that?
Range of 88. So again, way long. AT of 4, firepower 2 up.
So it's slightly better.
Yeah, you have direct fire up to 16 inches, so it's a little closer range, but it's a slower moving projectile. That's probably why. But it's AT-14 and auto firepower, brutal heat, slow fire.
So what auto means, if you hit and it goes through or they equal, it automatically bails out or is destroyed.
But then they also get the Krasnopol laser guided projectile.
Yeah, the Soviets do it.
Yeah, Soviets do.
Yeah. So it's different from the copperheads or the laser projectiles, which we'll go over with the Paladin, where these actually hit the roof still.
Yes.
Now
And it's AT4.
Okay, so again, it's still hitting on the roof of 4s. Do you need the FO for that to work?
I do believe you do because
you do because I run them that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you'll see a theme with
Actually,
that.
it says any observer team can request it, so you don't need the FO. So any observer team can
We've
request.
always ran it as EFO.
Wait, that might just be a thing on words. If you guys know, comment below. Because usually, like, any team can observe, but, like, there's trained observers and non-trained.
Yeah, but
it might be trained observers.
It just says any observer team, so I'm pretty sure that goes to the FO then.
Okay. And then I guess the next is the Dana.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which I'll pull that book up.
Okay.
The Dana wheeled artillery piece.
Right. And so the Dana's really cool. It's a 1-1-0. Now it is a cross of 5. It's got a 96-inch range, 24 direct, 14-1 brutal smoke. So it's got less anti-tank directly, but still automatic, which it's a 152 millimeter shell.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
Yeah,
But
it's
it has
big.
the longest range of the 3 so far.
Right. But it's also a 4-2. So anti-tank 4, firepower 2, but it has autoloader with this smoke barrage. So autoloader is really good because basically once you've ranged in, anything on the template, whatever your range number was, like your second or third attempt, that's what you hit the target on. Well, with autoloader, you minus that by 1, which is really huge. So if you range in first attempt and you're against NATO, you're hitting everything underneath the template on 4s.
Yep.
Well, the autoloader now goes to 3s. And obviously, it just goes from there. So it's like really powerful. I guess point-wise, it's 3 of them is 7 points. We really haven't gone over points, but it's a little bit more expensive than the Acacias and the Carnations, and quite frankly, being autoloaders, why?
But it's 3 primary NATO players. That's what we pay for our 109s anyway.
Yeah.
7 for 3.
Right. So, and really, I think that's about it for the Soviet artillery. Like, we're not talking about LRMs. That might be... There's not too many LRMs in the game, actually, so there might be a separate video if you guys want us to.
Or we could lump them in with the mortars.
I kind of want to separate because they're 2 different distinct weapon systems.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean? It's hard comparing the fish and the monkey who climbs a tree better.
Yeah.
Aha, if you get the reference.
But like, the East Germans who get the Hales, and they also get the the RM70. So yeah.
And there's like 3 versions of the LRMs.
Yeah.
There's actually more LRM versions for Warsaw than there. Cause if you want to lump in the Therabrach nuclear missile
the cost
thing.
one.
Yeah.
But
The war crime machine.
so, I guess that's really it for the Soviets. For Warsaw Pack. Actually, for some reason I thought we'd have a 5 count for them. There's only 3, really.
Different nations get it, and that's really where the points vary. Mm-hmm. Because I do believe not only the Poles, but I think the Czechs also get the Dana as well.
Yeah.
So, and that's where you're going to get different points in there for the Dana.
Yeah.
And that goes along with skill and all that, and going into stats we don't get into.
So that's Warsaw Pack. Now we're going into NATO, and NATO has a plethora of them, but most nations have one variant of the Paladin, the 109.
Yeah.
Do you want to go over like the 109 basically, like the?
Yeah, it's the big boy that everybody knows and sees. We all run them across the NATO forces. It's that Paladin that everybody knows from watching the war videos. Mm-hmm. It is the war horse and the workhorse of artillery. Just about every NATO nation can take it. Can the British take it, or are they stuck
Yes,
with
the British can take it. The French are the only ones who can't take it because they get their own special auto-loading AMX AUF-1.
Okay, so the Paladin, so it's like what, a 2-2-1 stat.
Yep.
I think it's still kind of the same. It's it's a 155, slightly bigger. Yeah. So it's firepower 4, or correction, anti-tank 4, firepower 2. It has an 88-inch range, 24 direct. Yeah. It only has a 12-1, so it's still auto if it hits something. The The thing with the Paladin, because it has the most special rules. Now, not all the nations have all the special rules. Most of them carry smoke. Some have bomblets or mindlets.
America has all of them.
Yeah.
America has. You have bomblets. You have
Mindlets.
mindlets, and then you have
Copperheads.
copperheads, laser projectiles. And if you want to, we can all tackle one of the special munitions it has. For those who don't know, I can do the copperheads.
Okay.
Because I've actually used them a little bit more. So the copperhead, it's a 21. It's kind of like direct fire. You have to have an FO, and it hits whatever facing of the vehicle is facing towards the artillery when you fire. So if for some reason they turn and you have side arc to a tank, then you're hitting it on the side with the 21. And you get like one shot per gun. It hits. It's like firepower 2, and basically it's like the guy's lasing each tank individually, and you're shooting like an artillery round at it, each one. It's expensive. It's 1 point per.
Yeah.
So then 3 paladins, if you load them up with all like the goodies, you're looking at 12 points for 3 artillery pieces.
For a unit that is 7 points base.
Yeah.
And that's just to try and kill something if you get lucky sides on it.
And it comes with smoke, but you want to go over bomblets?
Yeah, I'll go with the bomblets. So the bomblets take that artillery template and put it to the salvo template, and you get a top armor attack of 3, but an AT of firepower of 6. So if you're trying to hit more things with not that good armor, so if you're trying to hit a BMP swarm, that DPICM, the DPICM, the munitions are going to be good for it.
Yeah, I feel the only time I like using sub munitions like that is if they're not dug in infantry, and then like, because that firepower 6 is really like,
Yeah.
But like you're covering a wider area. If infantry's not dug in yet or not in like buildings, I like using that if I have it. And
You don't have to worry about the firepower check.
No, and then you want mindlets.
Mindlets are one of my favorite.
Yeah.
That's one that I wish that our Dutch could use. Like, come on.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's aerial denial. You got those T-80s or that horde of 55s. Put it right there in their pathway and watch them either swarm around it to where you can get the shots you want.
Or if you have minefields whenever you deploy and you say, hey, there's a gap that I just want to plug.
Yeah, you left it on purpose.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, mindlets is the best way to deal with heavy tanks. And honestly,
Anything.
it's the best way to deal with Abrams.
Yeah.
Because American skill check is a 4, hits top armor of 5. It's good because like when you hit a unit in the FAQ, it says once the unit moves, even though the bombs are on top of it, that's when you start rolling. And like you just said, like you definitely tie down units. I've tied down Steel Brew Chieftains in the wood line.
Yeah. The Kilt actually hit my challengers with it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, sorry, the Cleric hit my challengers with it and kind of stopped me from using them.
So like the mindlets is really good. It's really weird. Only Soviet missiles have mindlets, but that's the Paladin.
Yeah.
And then
The only other difference is the Danish. Instead of getting your typical 96 inches,
Yeah.
it drops down to 88 because they had the 109 G. Well, the West Germans get it too. So it's a shorter barrel.
yeah. There's like I said,
think
there's
it's-
every flavor of Paladin out
And
there.
I think actually it's a different firepower or a different strength at least. That's probably.
I think almost all of them are 4s.
Yeah.
Um,
4s and 2s.
I guess. Do you want to go over the Abbott?
Yes, the Abbott is the 105 millimeter in between gun for the British.
Okay.
So it's decent, but it could be better, could be worse.
I don't know. You seem to have a hard time with it.
I like that. I like the Abbott.
That's just me having a hard time with the thing. So it's 105 millimeter gun,
Okay.
AT4 4-up firepower,
Yeah.
or AT17 1+ firepower.
What's its armor rating?
1 all around. It's on a 432 chassis.
Okay.
So the 432 is the British equivalent to the 113.
So it's I guess if you need some artillery and you'll have the points,
Yeah,
is when you pick the Abbotts up
It's
for.
not bad because 2 of them for 3 or 4 for 6.
It's so weird because some of like obviously you have less than 3 guns, you're re-rolling the hits. I'm not sure why you just take 2 unless you're looking for maybe smoke.
Yeah.
Does it come with smoke?
Yep, you can use smoke with
You
it.
can take them as a 4-stack too. I like that part of it.
Yeah. The 4-stack would be nice. That's something else too with artillery guys. If you have less than 3 guns, you have to re-roll your hits underneath the template. if you have, I believe,
4 or more.
I think it's five
or more.
If you have 5 or more, then you get to re-roll your misses. The only time I've ever run more than 3 guns, I've run my mortars in groups of 6s before, and it's not like old Flames of War where if you went to like the more guns, you use a salvo as opposed to the artillery. So it's real expensive doing that, and you rarely ever see people doing it. You might as well, if you're able to, take 2 groups of artillery for the same points, but you have like 2 different splashes.
The only time I have is, and it's not self-propelled guns, it's whenever I run my hails as the Iraqi hails.
Because they're so cheap.
Yeah. But that's another video.
Yeah. So,
but yeah, the Danish get the M109 or the M109A3, and it's actually a difference in anti-tank. So if you take the regular 109s, it's AT-12.
Okay.
Whenever you're doing direct fire versus 15 for direct fire.
It's kind of like little stuff.
And it is 88 inches in range.
Okay, so that seems to be the average. So is there any other artillery for the
French?
Well, I mean for the British.
No, it's the 109s and then the Abbas and the mortars.
Okay. You think I would know this because I run these with my Iraqis?
Yeah, the AMX.
The AMX FU1. Okay. Now it is 9 points for 3 of them. Believe it or not, 'cause it's on a AMX 10 chassis.
30.
Is it 30? Oh,
yeah.
It's a 4.2.1. So it's a little beefier in the front.
Yeah.
I mean, if your artillery's getting hit directly, you're worried about your armor, you're in a bad way.
Yeah.
You can take on BMP 1s.
Yeah, you're like, what's up? It has a 104 range, so it's way longer. Again, artillery 4.2 seems to be standard with NATO. 4th, 2 up firepower. Smoke, which is awesome. Direct is 1-1, so 1 shot moving. 15. It does have slow firing and brutal. So obviously slow
that's
firing.
Most artillery has slow firing.
But then autoloader, and this is where, like we went over, the autoloader comes into play because. All right, and this we have. As much as we don't like touching on skills, skill 3, you're hitting with a skill 3. You're hitting, say, Warsaw Pack. You hit them on 3s.
Yeah.
You range it on your first attempt, which is really easy to do.
Especially if you use an FO with them.
Correct.
It takes it down to a 2.
And then all of a sudden, if they're in the open, and all of a sudden, instead of hitting NATO or Warsaw Pack vehicles on 3s on a template, now it's 2s. You're doing some serious havoc. So like autoloader, again, it helps the Warsaw Pack out because like usually you're ranging in kind of poorly. So like you're hitting sometimes NATO on 5s and 6s. It lowers it. The Iraqis can take this, and again with them, they really need it because they're bottom of the barrel. So like that +1 auto is really nice. The AMX is really good. Again, it's expensive.
Yeah.
Trying to think. So other artillery, I really think the only other artillery left for NATO, because everyone uses the 107. You know what I mean, or the 109's correction. Is the I think is it the Finns or the Swedes?
All with their carnation.
Yeah, well,
it should be the Finns. The Swedes get the band cannon.
Yeah,
which has another autoloader.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah,
I forgot about that. Wow.
Yeah,
that's in the Nordic.
Well, because it's still new. So the band cannon 1.
There you go. So what's its stats all around? Because
2-1-1.
We don't see it too often because not too many people play Nordic right now, which is weird because you'd feel like you would see more Nordic.
Oh, the Swedes are kind of a niche. They're kind of a niche army though.
Like, a lot of their stuff's resin, metal, so it's going to be more expensive.
Then a lot of their stuff, it's very specific to them. So the Finns, you can get, you can buy NATO army and a Warsaw Pact army and make an amalgamation.
Okay.
The Norwegians, you can buy the standard NATO Leopards and 113s and still get by playing them. The Swedes, they have their own kind of vehicles.
Okay.
So the band cannon 1, it's a 2-1-1. It's still 155 mil.
Okay.
It has a range of 104. It also has an autoloader.
So it sounds very much artillery stat wise the same as the
4 top
French gun.
4 top attack, 2 firepower. direct fire is AT-18 and a 1-up firepower.
Oh.
Brutal, forward firing,
That's
slow
a
firing.
lot
smoke.
better.
You guys are the only two I've seen use direct fire with their artillery.
Only because we last resort.
Yeah.
So,
Well, sometimes it really does help if you're getting threatened by like lighter stuff. You can blow them
Yeah.
up pretty easy.
Yeah. But I do believe, like I said, that's the only thing because the Norwegians still get the 113, the 109. Sorry.
Yeah, like the one. So, like I said, it's kind of
Yeah.
it's kind of weird because just like the 113 chassis for IFVs or for APCs, everyone has a Paladin.
Yeah.
They make so many variations
Yeah.
of the Paladin.
It's like Oprah with Paladins. You get a Paladin, you get a Paladin.
Pretty much. So I guess it's really all the artillery pieces that or SPGs that are in the game. I guess we'll lead. Whoever wants to lead off first with like your kind of top 5. It feels like there's like 7 choices.
Yeah. So number 1 probably. I know we don't want to do skill, but French AMX AUF1.
Okay.
Just for that autoloader.
Oh, I guess one caveat. What was the points for the Nordic version of that or that gun? 'Cause it was 9 points for the French.
Yeah, Nordic.
I don't like using points because, like, again, like some of the
9 points for 3 of them, and you can only take a 3-pack.
so it's kind of the same. It's
Yeah.
literally the same.
Yeah. But if I had to go, I would probably go with French AMX1, AUF1 for the one, and mostly skill and all the fun autoloader stuff you have because you're just decimating anything with it if you
Okay.
can hit. Swedes, they're all right. Again, you don't really see them as much, so I don't know how well they play. But they would
Okay.
probably go number 2. Number 3 would be the Americans just because of everything they can do with it.
With the Paladin.
Yeah, the British Paladin's all right. You can lump all the other Paladins in to one category,
Right.
Because they don't get all
Yeah.
the
when we get to
specialized-
my list, I'll tell you about that. Yeah. Because
But-
I did separate.
Yeah. The Soviets, I really don't know Soviet artillery that well. I mean, I just know it's brutal.
Okay.
So it's really like 4 and 5 could be interchangeable between the Arcacias and then the generic NATO 1 and 9.
Okay. You want to go over yours then, Cleric?
Yeah. So I have to put the American 109 at the top,
Okay.
just because of all of the nuts and bolts that it can take.
Yeah, it has the
Like-
most options.
Yeah, like here we play really light and friendly, and whenever we go down to the bigger basement events, like down at the Presby's, I like to kind of, I'm playing the Soviet Horde Army today. I'm swapping out my 109s for the bomblets.
Yeah.
Or if I'm playing that 55 against 55 hordes, I want that extra minefield on there.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll put the Americans one on top just because of all of the fun that you can have with it.
Okay.
Number 2, A and B, are the French the autoloaders.
Okay.
Both, the AMX version and that Dana. The one drawback I would give them is that they're so specific to just 4 armies total can take them. So
Yeah.
Number 3 for me is the Abbott.
Okay.
See, I love that light howitzer that it has, because you take that in like almost like a bunch of
I can
different
take
formations.
it in 4 formations.
So
Right,
just
yeah.
like just how the Soviets have the coordination in a lot
Yeah.
of their
Yeah.
formations, that's really nice because like you have multiple pie plates on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like the Abbott, and it's a 4 stand. So I lost one. Oh no, I still have 3 more.
Yeah.
Then number 4 for me is the Carnation, because it is a workhorse.
Yeah.
So, and then 5 is every other 109. So, you guys know I'm a Dutch player. I love my Dutch, but we need some different tools for the 109.
Yeah.
Like, even as
Yeah.
good as the East Germans are with their whole army, they lack in the artillery with that G.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to catch flack, but the G is... I don't even put the G on my list.
Yeah.
Like, it's the full bore 109 for me, or keep it in the box.
Well, it's so wild because like I guess they in this time period they did keep the copperheads back just to the U.S. and I want to say minelets and bomblets were pretty specialized shells.
But at the same time, though, every army had their version of deployable mines that they could use, and that gets more into the me doing me thing.
LRMs.
Well,
mostly
LRMs
did that.
or a vehicle that is driving by as they're retreating and just shooting mines out the side that detonate after 10 days.
So I guess for my 5, I honestly I put the Paladin because of all the stuff it can take.
It's so versatile.
It really is. Like, barring skills, if you tweak it out, you can do all kinds of stuff with it. And if you can keep your artillery alive to use all of its abilities, especially kitted out, it's really good. If you have a hard time punching through it, like certain tanks, okay, now they're going to be cognizant of what side they show to you, because 21 hitting it's pretty good. Honestly, number 2, I would probably go. It'd be a close one, but I'd probably go with the French autoloader. I use that with my Iraqis, and it's really nice. I'd probably then go with the Nordic autoloader. There's something to be said about that. And then 4, I have to give it to Arcacia. It's a little bit more powerful. Got firepower too, and it also has those Krennic, whatever you want to call them, the colostomy bag rounds. Yeah, colostomy bag rounds. So like,
just shitting on everybody.
Right, it's still hitting top. You know what I mean? Which is a little bit better. And if we have to do some research, and if it is any observer, that makes it really good. But I'm kind of holding judgment on that.
Yeah.
And then probably number 5 would probably be the Dana. And the only reason I rank it so low as an autoloader, it has a really bad cross. You know what I mean? Even if it wasn't any Warsaw Pack, all wheel vehicles have a bad cross.
Oh, yeah.
Autoloader's really good. But again, like that cross, because you want to put them in the woods or you try to move it around, you're going to get hung up. Yeah. It's a cool model, but that's how I kind of rank mine. So all of us pretty similar in some ways, different in others. And again, we've all played different armies.
Oh, yeah. Again, as the British player, to me the 109 is just too expensive for the British Army to bring, because I'm lacking in a lot of other things. So that's why I bring the Abbots.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good, but they could be a lot better. It's hard to deal with things with the 105.
It's good to have, like, and again, like I said, with the Paladin, I like having all the options. Like if I have bomblets, another fun fact, mindless is one use.
Yeah.
Bomblets doesn't say how many times.
Use them over and over.
So if you have a bunch of enemies in the open, like troops, obviously infantry, and they're not dug in or whatever, all of a sudden, like, there's a good chance you start killing dudes, especially if you keep them ranged in, and they fail to dig in. But then again, like, it's one of those catch-22s.
Well, they fell down the pin and they can't move forward.
Right, you just keep hitting them.
Yeah. Pinning them, that's what the key is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's one thing that artillery is great at.
Yeah, and I like artillery, and again, the only kind of part that feels badsies, and it's my headcanon, you have to separate game from reality. And on the size of an engagement area, doing the math, it's only like 2 football fields wide by a football field half lengthwise for the scale.
Very tactical tank battle.
But I always go with the headcanon. Well, the models are bigger than the map is scaled down to facilitate the models, because in all reality, your artillery, your mortars, your long-range missiles, even your helicopters to a point wouldn't be on the size of the battle.
Yeah.
But like, you got to have models. You know what I mean? Like it kind of loses the illusion of, well, I'm gonna fire my artillery, and the only thing close would be a spotter, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One thing I'm kind of looking forward to with the release of Flames of War Pacific is to see how they're going to do amphibious assaults using, shipboard artillery, seeing if that's going to look forward into Team Yankee with Marine Corps.
I don't know if they'll even do anything like that. If anything, it might be a special scenario, like where you get like some sort of bombardment, but they're not. The game's not known for having
special rules like that.
Yeah, because I guess in one aspect, how do you neutralize that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You would have it every turn firing, like kamikaze attack. Well, like,
yeah,
it's hard to do. Maybe like an opening bombardment, but I'm not sure how I would feel like that for normal games. Maybe scenarios.
Yeah,
scenarios would be cool.
It'd be interesting just to see, though.
Yeah,
like the airborne assault rules.
Well, you can play them in missions. It's just a lot of people don't like to do because it changes deployment a lot.
Yeah.
And I just wish they would have tweaked helicopters better. That's kind of it. You guys have anything else you want to add, like to SPGs or anything?
No, they do serve a good purpose in the game, though. We'll say that.
You definitely should take at least one of some kind just for smoke, if anything else.
And the infantry, you know, you got to let the infantry worry about coming out in the open.
Yeah.
So that's what I use them for, is that area denial.
Yeah.
Double check your skills when you're playing your armies too, depending on whether you do the FO or not.
Yeah, and
Most armies will need it.
I always say take an FO for a point. I only kind of wish formation commanders would have the observer rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that, because like we don't know how many times, even on 6s, they hit your FO and he disappears. You know what I mean? Like I kind of wish they used maybe like the ambush rule for FO. You know what I mean? Like you pick a spot or you put some chits down and, hey, we're going to shoot at it. Okay, we actually hit. Turn it over. Oh, no FO there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean,
I
again,
feel like you're targeting me
no.
for targeting your FOs.
No.
You
no,
killed
no,
my
no.
FO all the time.
The cleric doesn't have a loaded dice when he shoots at your FO at all.
Oh, I need 6s and they die.
Oh, no.
But that's kind of it, guys. If you like what we do, like, share, subscribe, whatever. Comment.
Let us know what you want to see next.
I think we're going to do mortars and then maybe LRMs.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of like people have already done them, or it's such a variety of tanks. Like you kind of then have to break down points and skill for tanks, and we're trying to stay away from that because again, it's objectively hard to be like the Carnation sucks. What about the Finnish one? Well, yeah. Or even like the French artillery. What about the Iraqi one? Well,
We don't talk about the Iraqi
yeah.
Or my Syrians, leave them out of it.
Poor little buggers. But
And even like trying to do main battle tanks would be kind of difficult because you'd have the Leclerc against my A5 or the M1A1 is going to win every single time.
right, and now with dynamic points, the list building is really nice. It's really fresh.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah, the Dutch are going to be coming back.
I definitely want to do a video with. We're both playing some games with dynamic points, and then I think maybe after a little bit we'll have like maybe an idea like, hey, how do we feel? What's changed?
I mean, I like them because I can bring something that actually can survive on the battlefield.
Well, that's just it. Like now we have M60s with ERA armor out there.
That's going to be interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And unfortunately, some people have already gotten theirs in our area. Some of us haven't. We're just kind of waiting.
Yeah.
I'm picking up just to have it for the collection aspect of it. Like
I'm doing a Marine Corps army. I've already got 3 out of 4 air support options for them.
Okay. But all right, guys. Until next time, this is the Guildmaster with
The Cleric.
And the Kilt.
Remember, always seize the objective.